All right, this short presentation is going to be on the models and microscope slides related to the reproductive system. So here we have a model of the female reproductive system. As we go through some of these features, here's actually the urinary bladder that we've seen before. Here's the urethra. This is the vagina, and here's the uterus. Okay, and we remember we have the different regions of the uterus. And coming up here, we have the ovary, and you can actually see the fallopian tube coming down. So remember the fimbriae on the fallopian tube helps catch the egg after ovulation and bring it towards the uterus. The other feature that you can see here is also this is supposed to be, I believe, the clitoris, but you can actually see it better in the next model. So that's about all you can see here with the female reproductive system. So looking over here, even though it's an old model, it has a lot of key features. So here's the urinary bladder with the urethra, vagina, here's your uterus with the different regions, cervix, isthmus, body, fundus. Here's an ovary with the fallopian tube. You see the fimbriae right here. And then also here's the clitoris, which is the erectile body of the female. So those are the big things on these female reproductive models. Looking at these models, similar. You can't really see anything else. It's just a different model. So uterus, vagina, urinary bladder. Clitoris would be right here. And then this is a model of the uterus and ovaries by themselves. So you have the uterus with its different regions, vagina. Here's the ovaries. You can see the fallopian tube with the fimbriae on it to catch the egg. And I actually put a little pictures of sperm in here looking for the egg. So fertilization would ideally take place here in the fallopian tube. And you can actually see inside the ovary the different follicular stages. And then the corpus luteum would be this, the yellow part, the remnant after ovulation. Looking at the male reproductive system, testes, penis. Here is the urinary bladder, and you can't see a whole lot else. Prostate gland would be right here. And then if we come over here, you can see a little bit more. So urinary bladder, prostate gland, urethra, testes. This looks like it's supposed to be the bulbourethral glands. This would also be the seminal vesicles. And going to this model, you can actually see a lot more. So you get the penis with the urethra, testes. Here's the epididymis, conducts sperm. Here's the vas deferens, carries the sperm all the way here. Here's your seminal vesicles that are going to contribute to the seminal fluid. Urinary bladder is here. Here's your prostate gland. You can see the urethra passes through. So remember, vas deferens comes, you get an expanded region called the ampulla, merges with the seminal vesicles forming the ejaculatory duct, which leads into the urethra. Here are the bulbourethral glands or Cowper's glands. All right, so that should do it for this model. Now let's look at some microscope slides. This is a microscope slide of the ovary, and specifically what you're looking at is a Graafian follicle that would be inside the ovary. So different parts of the follicle, remember, a Graafian follicle is a mature follicle, so you got the secondary oocyte. You got this clear ring called the zona pellucida, a ring outside of that with these cells, the corona radiata, and the big fluid-filled space would be the antrum. Coming over here, same thing, the secondary oocyte. You can kind of barely see the zona pellucidum, corona radiata, and the big, very big antrum. This is a microscope slide of the testes, and so you've seen this before. It looks like a bunch of sections or a bunch of circles because you're looking at a bunch of cross sections of the seminiferous tubules. And if you actually zoom in on one of those, you can actually see some things that we talked about. So the Sertoli cells, which make the sperm, and then in between it we would have the interstitial cells of Leydig. And even though it's not labeled, the Leydig cells would be like this. So remember, the Leydig cells are between the seminiferous tubules. All right, and lastly, we have a cross-section of the penis showing the erectile bodies. Remember, these corpus cavernosa and corpus spongiosum, they fill with blood, making the penis erect. And interestingly enough, if you look at a cross-section of it like this, it kind of looks like a face with the eyes and the mouth.